Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here tonight with your AEW Dynamite review on Wednesday, February 24th, 2020. We got a lot to talk about tonight, man. Had a Dynamite show, as always. It was a taped show tonight. 2 weeks, 11 days before Revolution, and it was really a tale of 2 hours tonight. Very good show, but you could pick which hour you liked better. The first hour, there was some wrestling, but it was more storytelling towards the main matches happening at Revolution, and the second hour was straight out wrestling, mat wrestling, and all that stuff. Great action. The final 3 matches on this show were all really good matches, of course. But bigger news is what happened today. Is AEW signed Paul Wight to a long-term deal, a.k.a. The Big Show. That's what we're going to talk about first here tonight, since clearly that's what everyone spent all day doing on social media, talking about Paul Wight signing with AEW. He is going to be on next week's show. I don't know why, but he is going to be on Dynamite next week to make an appearance, which that show is live, I think. If you guys have not already, though, before we get started with the festivities tonight, if you haven't checked out my Elimination Chamber review, go ahead and check that out. And also my Monday Night Raw review. I would very much appreciate that. Both of those are over 100 views. The Elimination Chamber one is well over 100 views, so I very much appreciate that from everybody. Just checking my phone just to see if I missed anything. No, we're good. I just got the all Paul Wight stuff up on my phone. So let's just talk about that first. We're going to dive right into that, my thoughts on that. Paul Wight, it was announced around 11 o'clock this morning that Paul Wight has signed with All Elite Wrestling. Crazy buzz on social media. People were freaking out. I freaked out. I didn't know what to say at first, but I read the press release, and I think he is in there for a good reason. There is also a new show announced for AEW. It is called AEW Dark Elevation. That is going to be on Monday nights at 7 o'clock on AEW's YouTube channel. And Paul Wight will be a commentator with Tony Schiavone. It was revealed tonight that his partner, Paul Wight, will be on commentary with Tony Schiavone for the new AEW show. That is very exciting. Sorry, I had a popcorn kernel stuck in my teeth, and I didn't want it to bother me during the show. But I'm not going to read the entire press release because that is just wasting your time, and I don't want to waste your time. But some of the more important things that are said in the press release, I can't even talk tonight, is Elevation will air on Monday at Monday, March 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on AEW's YouTube channel, and will showcase AEW's established and rising stars, as well as the top independent wrestlers within the industry, competing against each other in ring and all that stuff. You know that. Paul Wight had this to say with signing with All Elite Wrestling. It's been amazing to watch what AEW has built in just a couple of years. AEW Dark is an incredible platform to learn skills of up-and-coming wrestlers, but I also love that established AEW talent can build out their personalities and showcase themselves in new ways on Dark. It's no exaggeration when they say that AEW is boundless. And then he also went on to say that he believed that AEW was the best wrestling company in the entire world, and he wanted to contribute and he wanted to help. So you got Big Show coming out saying that he wants to be in AEW. Apparently, him and WWE upper management, they had an argument back at Raw Legends Night. Not an argument, but a disagreement with financials. And he decided, you know what, I'm not going to sign a new deal. And it was today. WWE put him on the alumni list. And then a couple minutes later, boom, Paul Wight is all elite. So I didn't read the entire press release, but it does seem like he is going to wrestle not full time. He's going to wrestle once or twice. I imagine one of those times is going to be against Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal wanted to do that match with Big Show. We all thought that was going to happen at WrestleMania 33 with the incident they had in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and how all of that went. That did not happen. We never got Shaquille O'Neal versus the Big Show. So Shaq is wrestling next week. I'm not saying it's going to happen soon, but let's say if they had a Shaquille O'Neal Big Show match at All Out 2021, I would not be shocked. Besides that, I don't know who you're going to put the Big Show against in AEW. You can have him go up against big guys. You can have him put over Lance. You could have him put over Lance Archer. I would not mind seeing that whatsoever if he has a match on pay-per-view where he's putting over a guy like Lance Archer or Brian Cage or Miro. I would not mind that at all. If he did have a match, if he had one match in AEW, I would put him in there with Lance Archer. And I would have Big Show or Paul put Lance Archer over. But he's going to be a commentator on AEW Elevation. And he's going to be like a coach backstage to all the young talent in AEW. So you know what? I'm actually in favor of AEW signing the Big Show. So I'm cool with it. I'm excited to see what happens. He's going to be on the show next week. That should be cool. And, you know, more wrestling on Monday nights now. I now have wrestling to watch before Raw, so I don't have that sour taste from I got to watch Raw tonight. Like, no, you can get an hour of wrestling with AEW in before you got to sit down and watch Monday Night Raw for 3 hours. It'll feel great. So that is the whole Paul Wight signing with AEW. Big talking point here on the review tonight. But the Dynamite show itself started out with the Hollywood hunk, Ryan Nemeth, against Jon Moxley. Very quick match. Nemeth got a couple moves in. Jon Moxley hit the paradigm shift on him and defeated Nemeth in about 3 minutes. After the match, Moxley grabbed a chair. He sat on the chair, and he cut a very heartfelt, emotional promo. It felt like it would be it. If this promo kind of felt like, you know, a retirement promo. For me, at the end, when he was like, to all my fans around the world, I go out here each and every single night, and I give 110% for you guys. And I'm going to leave it all on the line in this exploding barbed wire match. And, if I can't somehow get it done at Revolution, I think this match will be a very good way for me to go out. And he talks about the blood, sweat, and tears and all that stuff. It was just a great, great emotional promo cut by Jon Moxley. And I think we all know that, let's just say, Kenny Omega is not losing the AEW World Championship right now, nor should he. So I think we all know that Moxley is not going to win at Revolution. But when Moxley speaks, he's one of those guys, not just in AEW, but in wrestling, where when he speaks, you just put everything down and you pay attention to what he says. He cut a great promo, and I'm hyped for this barbed wire match. And it seems like after this, Moxley's going to be leaving for a couple months, go on maternity leave to go take care of Renee before she gives birth to their new child. So we'll see. I'm excited for the barbed wire match, and I bet you it is going to be one crazy, insane match that we're all talking about on the internet. Then we had Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., the Varsity Blondes. Let me tell you something about the Varsity Blondes real quick. Griff Garrison, I saw him on Dark early in the summer. I didn't really know who this guy was. The guy didn't really have that much personality. I'm like, I don't know what to feel about this guy. Pillman, I feel like everybody knows Brian Pillman. He's the son of Brian Pillman Sr., MLW World Champion. Used to be, at least, I think. They have gotten some great... They got great tag team chemistry together. They have made a fan out of me. There are some great young I bring this up a lot of times. There are some great young tag teams in AEW. You got the Acclaimed, Top Flight, Bear Country, if you guys know who they are. They're on AEW Dark. And you got the Varsity Blondes. And I think these guys have came a long way since they started teaming up. And now these guys are definitely TV ready. And, you could slide them into any spot, I feel like, and they'd be good for it. So they went up tonight against Team Taz, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks. Solid match, 10 minutes. Wasn't really about the match, though. Excuse me. Whew. It wasn't really about the match. Cage hits the Iron Claw on Pillman. Looked absolutely nasty as he dropped him right on his head. And Brian Cage pinned Brian Pillman Jr. After the match, the lights go out. It's the Daly's place is all blacked out. You see this vignette where there's a body bag on the end of a truck, and you see the drivers wearing black gloves. Clearly, it's Sting, and Sting goes to unzip the body bag, and Darby Allin pops out of it. He's smiling and all that stuff. Then Sting's music hits. He grabs a body bag. I thought Darby was going to be in there. It was actually Taz's son, Hook, trapped in the body bag. Then Sting pointed to the upper level of Daly's place, and Darby Allin, this man came down on a damn zip line into the ring and started attacking Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. That was very cool. Awesome stuff. Sting, what he did, he got into it. Sting looked great tonight, if you ask me. Had a couple splashes in there. Hit a clothesline on Brian Cage. He then went for the Stinger Splash. He hit that, and he hit the... What's his finisher? God damn it. What is Sting's fin? I don't remember. I'm going to have to look this up because I feel embarrassed if I don't know what Sting's finisher is. I'm going to have to look this up. Scorpion Death Drop. That's what I knew, something Scorpion, but I just didn't remember what the last part of his finisher name was. The Scorpion Death Drop. That's what it is. He hit that on Brian Cage. He looked very good. He looked very good in this post-match attack, and I think he put away the critics of people wearing, I don't feel safe with Sting in this street fight with Darby Allin at Revolution, whatever. He looked great tonight, and I think he's going to be good in the street fight. So this got me more excited for the street fight because it wasn't like Sting. He botched this and messed up and whatever. Nah, he looked pretty clean. He did his moves, and he looked good at doing it too. So I am excited for this street fight at Revolution. We then went into Jake Hager and Brandon Cutler. This match had no business being on the show whatsoever. This could have been for Dark. I understand why they did it, because they got to another post-match angle, but this match had no business being on Dynamite. Hager defeated Cutler in about 4 minutes with the Hager bomb. And then after the match, out came Santana, Ortiz, and Wardlow to attack Brandon Cutler. He was attacked. Out came the Young Bucks for the save. They gave Santana and Ortiz a super kick. They went for a super kick to Hager. Hager got out of the way. And then Matt Jackson. This was honestly, this might have been my favorite thing of the entire night. So Matt Jackson gets on the microphone. He's calling out Chris Jericho and MJF. He said, "Why not just wait for? We don't need to wait for Revolution. We can do this right now." And then MJF and Jericho, they appear on the Titantron, and they say, "Why would we want to fight you right now when we're going to kick your ass at Revolution, and we don't need to waste your time with you right now?" And MJF said something like, "We've already done our business for the night," or something like that. Something like that. And then after they move out of the way, and it shows the Young Bucks' father. Papa Buck was laying there. He was all busted open. He was unconscious. Jericho threw him into the truck, which had the Young Bucks on the back. It had Nick on this side and Matt on this side. Jericho threw him into the truck, and then MJF threw him into the truck. They got away. Matt Jackson went after them. He went to go chase Jericho and MJF, but they were driven away via a car. This was excellent. I absolutely loved this. This got a lot of heat on Chris Jericho and MJF attacking. I don't even know how old the Young Bucks' father is, but they attacked their damn dad. So they got a lot of heel heat tonight. Even Tony Schiavone was saying how disgusting of an act this was. JR was saying this was pathetic. This came off excellent, and it got great heat on Jericho and MJF, and it got people more excited for the match. I was going to come on here next week and say this is one of the least excited I have ever been for a Young Bucks match, but man, I don't know. They kind of got me interested with the angle tonight. It was awesome. And then he was loaded into the ambulance. Nick Jackson and the Good Brothers went. Matt Jackson stayed. And it was announced that next week that Chris Jericho and MJF will answer all of the questions, as they will have a press conference 4 days before Revolution. I think that's going to be great. I am very intrigued to see how that goes next week on Dynamite. Hour 2 started with Hangman Page against Isaiah Cassidy, who was accompanied to the ring by Matt Hardy and TH2. It seems like TH2 is now associated themselves with Matt Hardy, which I think is a good thing. It creates a new faction with the Matt Hardy brand. TH2, they are too good not to be used on television, and I think Tony Khan has finally seen that. They've had a lot of matches on Dynamite lately, getting a lot of eyes on people, and I think, they need something to do. They need to be in some storyline, and I think putting them with Matt Hardy, I think that's a pretty good idea. And now you got the Matt Hardy brand with Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2. I think that's great. I love that. So they were out there. Hangman Page came out solo. TH2 at one point in the match got on the apron. They distracted Aubrey Edwards. Hangman was holding the ankle of Hangman Page. Isaiah Cassidy did an arm drag, and then Matt Hardy threw Hangman Page into the ring post and threw him back in the ring. Then Silver and Reynolds of Dark Order come out, and they tell Aubrey Edwards, "Look, did you not just see what happened? Matt Hardy threw Hangman into the ring post." Aubrey Edwards looks at Matt Hardy, and she throws him out of the match. So now we got Silver and Reynolds by the side of Hangman Page, and from right there, Isaiah and Hangman Page, they had a great match. Might have been my favorite match of the night, to be honest. Isaiah hit a Poison Rana for a very close near fall. Hangman Page missed a buckshot, and then Isaiah hit a spinning tornado DDT for a very close near fall. And then Isaiah Cassidy at the end went for some rope move over the top rope, but Hangman countered it, and he hit the Deadeye, which, oh my God, we haven't seen that move in ages, it's felt like. And Hangman Page beat Isaiah Cassidy. So then after the match, Matt Hardy gets on the microphone. He's at some area backstage. He's like, "Hangman, you've made a very poor decision, and I'm going to make you pay for it. I'm going to hurt you physically, and I'm going to hurt you financially. And for you deciding to pick the Dark Order over becoming rich, I'm going to hurt every member of the Dark Order I possibly can." He then stops talking, drags Alan Angels outside of the... he drags him onto the stage. He takes Alan Angels and he throws him. He throws him off the stage through a table that looked absolutely brutal. And that was the segment. So the match was great. The post-match angle was great. It got some heel heat on Matt Hardy. And it was good stuff. So Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose in the Women's Eliminator Tournament. The winner of this would go on to take the winner of Thunder Rosa versus Riho, which is going to be happening Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Bleacher Report. So they promoted the shit out of this all week leading up to tonight's Dynamite that there is going to be a show Sunday night for AEW on Bleacher Report. It is all women's action. You're going to see Thunder Rosa versus Riho and the semifinals of the women's eliminated tournament for the U.S. side. And then for the Japanese side, you have Yuka Sakazaki versus Ryo Mizunami as the finals for the Japanese side. That's going to be happening Sunday. And then we have a 6-woman tag. I don't know all the names in the 6-woman tag, but I do know that Hikaru Shida will be wrestling. So we got that on Sunday night. Probably not going to do a video for that. I mean, it's probably going to be an hour long. I'll tweet about it and give my thoughts through Twitter. So just to let you guys know about that. Britt Baker and Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose won this match in 12 minutes after a beast bomb to Britt Baker. I was quite surprised by this outcome. Britt Baker was everybody's favorite to come out of this match victorious, to come out of the U.S. side victorious, to win the finals. And everybody expected that Britt Baker would be the women's champion ever after Revolution. It seems like that is not going to happen. And we're going to have to wait even longer for Baker to come in to be the women's champion. But, listen, man. Everybody wants to complain about the AEW women's division. I get it. It's not great. It still needs work. But you cannot deny that these women's matches the past couple weeks have been great matches. It goes back to the Beach Break match. All February, they've been having great matches on Dynamite. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker had a great match. Thunder Rosa and Layla Hirsch, they had a pretty good match in the first round of the eliminated tournament. Last week we saw Riho versus Serena Deeb, and a lot of people talking about how fantastic that match was last week. And they're even saying how Riho and Thunder Rosa, that's probably the reason why I'm tuning into the show on Sunday, because I think that is going to be a great women's match. So Nyla Rose wins here. Britt Baker's day is coming. I think we all know that she is absolutely the person to take the women's title off of Hikaru Shida. There's no way around that, but Nyla Rose wins. And if I had to be a betting man, she's going to take on Thunder Rosa in the finals of the U.S. side. When that happens, I have no idea. I don't know. But we got a couple of announcements for next week's Dynamite and some new matches added to the Revolution pay-per-view next Sunday. We'll start with Dynamite next week. We got Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet versus Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill as your main event of next week's show. They really hyped that match up tonight as well. I'm not joking with you guys here. I'm actually pretty intrigued to see how that match goes. A lot of people are talking. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it leading up to next week's show. And I'm not excited for Cody and Shaq. I'm excited for Jade because I think AEW has something in her. And if they wanted to, she can be AEW's version of Sasha Banks. So I'm excited to see how Jade handles her business with Shaq against Cody and Red Velvet next week. That should be a really a pretty intriguing match for my standard part about it. So that's your main event next week. We're getting FTR and Tully Blanchard against the Jurassic Express. Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2 against the Dark Order. I think it was Uno, Grayson, Silver, Reynolds, and I want to say Colt Cabana. So we're getting a 10-man tag next week. A press conference with Chris Jericho and MJF, like I said earlier. And we're getting a qualifying match for the Face of the Revolution ladder match between Dark Order number 10 and Max Caster of the Acclaimed. That is very interesting. And then for Revolution, we have a tag team match announced. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy will be taking on Kip Sabian and Miro. And then we have a tag team Casino Battle Royal, of course. I can't get away from these Battle Royals, man. I can't stand Battle Royals. We just saw one a month ago on Beach Break, and now a month later we're getting another one on Revolution. I love AEW, but come on, man. Enough with these Battle Royals. I hate them so much. So, we're getting a tag team Battle Royal at Revolution. I don't know. They didn't say if this was going to be on the buy-in or on the main show. I'm guessing this is going to be on the buy-in. But we got tag teams like Butcher and Blade, Private Party, Santana and Ortiz, Top Flight, Dark Order, and they had Bear Country in there, which I like to see that. So their hard work on Dark results them into a spot on Revolution. Very good stuff. So when we had main event time was the qualifying match to get into the ladder match at Revolution. Lance Archer versus Rey Fenix. Lance Archer and Rey Fenix were two totally different styles. Lance Archer is a big dude who keeps you to the ground. He's going to kick you, punch you, chop you, all that stuff. Yeah, he's very athletic. He is a very athletic giant. Rey Fenix, probably the best high flyer in the business right now. These guys worked really well together. The pacing was great, and the result was correct. Lance Archer got this win. I would have absolutely given this win to Lance Archer. He needed some direction. I think putting him in this ladder match at Revolution is going to be very good. And he got the win here with the blackout on Rey Fenix. Had a couple close near falls. They both did a Spanish fly off the top rope. Lance Archer did his top rope walk into a moonsault, which I love that move. It just goes to show you how athletic of a guy Lance Archer really is. And I think this was the right thing to do. Give Lance Archer the win. Put him in this match at Revolution. And honestly, looking at the field, he could be a favorite to win the match. Now, Tony Khan had an interview with the Wrestling Observer, and he kind of told us that, hey, I have a surprise for the last entrant, and fans might have to wait until Revolution. So I might have an idea of who that is gonna be, but I want to save that for next week on the Revolution preview and predictions. Speaking about that, before we get out of here, I do have a major announcement to make about next week's Revolution preview predictions. I will be joined with a guest, of course, for the preview predictions for Revolution. He is a part of the No DQ podcast, one of the nicest people I know in the IWC, very good friend of mine, Noah Foster. So if you guys know him, I will be tagging him on my Twitter post once I get this up. Make sure you go follow him. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel. He is going to be on with me next week to do preview and predictions for Revolution, and it's going to be very, very fun. I can't wait to have Noah on the channel. And also next week is the start, guys. Wesley Williams, my new co-host for Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite. It starts next week. He will be here on the channel next week to break it all down. Next week's Dynamite and for every Wednesday moving forward. So I want to thank you guys for watching the Dynamite review here tonight. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's try to get to 360 subs before the week is over. Comment down below. I want to know your thoughts about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite and also about the signing of Paul Wight. Hit that like button if you like what you heard from me in this video. And go follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. About 5 followers away until 2.1K. So I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow for your NXT review here on the Big Fight Phil channel. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy.